Hi, everybody. We're playing Radiant Silvergun today.
The real treasure is friendship.
Oh, so there's none to be found.
We are bankrupt. Bankrupt.
Oh, are we playing?
I don't know. It's trying to teach us how to play the game.
Yeah, it is. We are playing, but I can't see. There's too many buttons being explained. There are too many explanins.
And I'm not going to read what any of this shit is because I'm trying to kill.
We can skip it. Thank merciful God. Kyle, here's the idea. There's buttons. You press them and they shoot. Fuck.
Various combinations will do various shit. You'll probably only stick with one for the entire game.
Oh, my God. Nick, so succinct.
I'm blue. I'm blue.
I found myself in so many...
Dabble-da-ding. Get it? That's the reference to the thing.
I found myself in so many meetings recently where, like, I'm supposed to be, like...
Clothed.
Paying attention, and, like, I'm not at all. So someone will explain... What the fuck? Someone will explain something, and they go, do you have any thoughts on that, Kyle? And I go, I think you explained that pretty succinctly.
I hate that. I hate when people expect me to be paying attention to shit that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, you know for a fact that I'm not.
Yeah. Well, it's just
I hate that. I've had so many Zoom meetings this week where I just like...
That's the trick. That's the trick.
Dude, okay.
I'm telling you right
now.
now.
Tell me how pissy it is that Zoom doesn't have a fucking mute feature. You can mute yourself.
You can.
But you can't mute, like, Zoom.
Use fucking, what's it called?
Dante?
Yeah.
I don't have money.
What do you mean?
I don't have money for real software. What I need is a way to just tell Zoom to be quiet so I can click over to fucking Corona Inugami songs and just veg out for 2 hours.
If you're
while
using
I
Windows,
pretend
you
to
can
give a
turn down
fuck
programs specifically.
so that I can get credits for showing up to shit. Fuck.
Yeah. I've definitely spent a lot of time on meetings where, like, I'm doing everything but listening.
Yeah, no, that's the trick. I'm telling you right now. Like, if somebody says...
That's when I actually get my work done. And then somebody asks, like, you think you can take care of that today? And I always come back like, I'm sorry, which item were we on?
Yeah, that's the trick.
That sounds so professional.
I'll let them know straight up, like if you needed something, you're going to have to explain right from the beginning, or like check to see if I was paying attention before you started asking questions.
You really ought to just be like, hey, Nick, this is for you. Nick Ruggles.
Nick.
Hey, Nick Ruggles, pay attention right now.
Here's the part where you pay attention.
There's been so many meetings where I've been like invited to, and
this
I'm
game
like,
is hard.
And I'm just, you. This is the game that like you mentioned when we were playing fucking Ikaruga.
Kyle, because they're the same game. Kyle, continue your story.
All right, anyway.
Kyle.
No, there's been so many meetings I've been part of where I'm like, it's just there. I'm invited, and like I'm literally not paying attention. I'm watching like a YouTube video the whole entire time. And like eventually they go, what do you think about that, Kyle? And I go, I think you explained that succinctly. And if that doesn't work, they'll go, what do you mean? And I go, sorry. I think I misunderstood.
If you think they will ever...
I think I misunderstood. Could you please repeat that?
Fuck, you busted me. Okay, smart ass, you caught me.
Yeah, you fucking did it. Way to go, Sherlock. You pinned me down.
Thanks a lot, Star Trek. Why don't you scan my ass? Oh, I'm not playing anymore. Can't tell.
Yeah, it's like you guys were talking about employer requirements for the last hour and a half.
You guys are talking about building a set.
You know for a fact I had nothing to do with any of that shit. Like, if you wanted me to just fill out this paperwork or implement this thing, just say that at like the beginning of the meeting, and I'll leave and go do it.
I did pull that like a week ago. Like, I'm like, hey, what do I need to be? So like, hey, we need you to physically be at this meeting. And I'm like, why? And they're like, they didn't have a good enough reason. Like when they told me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you that I will be there, but I'm not going to actually be there. So when the meeting came around, they're like, hey, Kyle, where are you at? I'm like, I'm at home. They go, why? And I'm like, I didn't think I needed to be there. And they're like, well, Kyle, everybody else is here. And I'm like,
well, you got to show gumption.
Well,
yeah, you know how like when we play a multiplayer game, I'll duck out at some point and just go as long as possible before anyone notices and yells at me.
Like that's right now.
That's pretty much how I treat Zoom meetings with anything important going on. That's my entire approach to life.
Yeah,
yep.
it's
just sit idly until you die.
Bring up some YouTube, watch an anime scream at Mario for a while, and
Another trick is if like whoever has arranged the meeting, and it's like an outside vendor, and they're like, I have to go. Kyle,
my whole planet needs me.
And I'm like, oh fuck, fuck. What is this about? What are we talking about? So like I have to. So I'm like,
get back in the game.
But what is silt really? Silt is, and you start giving a report on like river sediment and see how long until anyone stops you.
That's great. Well, no, like today I was in a meeting where it's like, so we had some outside.
Cawthon, just what the fuck do you think you're saying?
We had an outside vendor like who had their spiel or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, and like I said, I'm an audio guy, so I only care about audio.
Damn,
so he's like
man.
describing like the video features and blah 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna check on out. And then eventually the guy who like arranged the meeting is like, hey, I have to go.
I mean, I'm just eating up your quarters.
Kyle, can you take care of the rest of this? And I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't know a single thing that we've been talking about.
The fallopian
last
tubes
hour.
carry the ovum to the fuck sack. Where they?
So I was like, hey, I think we covered what I wanted to hear, and that's all I know. And
Does
then, like,
anyone have any questions before we begin? That's a good trick, because then they might give you a context clue so you know what they're talking about. And then it looks like you're an engaged leader. That's a brilliant fucking
that's
trick.
Good. That's a good one.
That is such a
where should I
disguise.
begin? What is
All right, what do you know about
most?
the product that I'm about to tell
Well,
you about?
before I launch into that, does anyone have any specific questions about what he was just talking about? Detailed questions. Like phrased
That's
in
a good
such
one.
a way.
That's a good trick.
Please phrase the question such that you summarize the
fuck.
topic
Keith, press start.
so that people watching the archive version.
And then at the same time, like while somebody is trying to pull up their question, your boss is doing kind of the same thing that you were doing, which is not really paying attention to the
Not
meeting,
giving a fuck.
because in the background they are working on your termination letter.
Oh, I don't know about termination letter, but I've definitely had my boss like in the background
He's got a
like.
Word document open and he's typing in huge bold serif font. Fuck this guy, and then they just drag and drops him.
I've definitely been in a meeting where my boss doesn't know what the hell is going on, and he's like leaning on me to know what's happening, but I'm not fucking paying attention. So like he'll just be like, yeah, I think that sounds great, Kyle. What do you think? And I'm like,
fuckwits all the way down.
I'm like, oh no, I've not been paying attention.
The condom broke.
I don't know, man.
That's also a good ripcord, a conversational ripcord. You can always just kind of disrupt stuff with that. Hey, you know
I know
what?
I've definitely told my employers, like, no, I'm not smart enough to do that shit.
Nick,
Like,
Well, I recently asked for a raise and they gave it to me, so now I have to say like I can do things. So
Yeah.
raise
I'm like
these nuts, you said.
I've just gotten more confident when they start asking about stuff. If I straight up don't know what they're talking about, I will word it exactly like that. I don't know what you're talking about, or I'm not smart enough to figure this shit out on my own. Has anybody else done this before?
It's like that episode of Married with Children where he accidentally gets the invitation for his next door neighbor to go on some game show, and like they don't tell anybody, and then the guy asks him, like, oh, so I see on your profile that you're a neurosurgeon. What's that like? And he just doesn't even try to fake it. He just goes, how would I know?
I don't remember that one. I remember the one where like his daughter gets on the game show and like she's so dumb that she can only remember so much information.
Yeah,
And then,
that's
like,
a different one.
And then like they get asked like who was the record holder for whatever like football team and whatever. He's like, oh, shit, she'll have to remember that. That's me. And like that's like the only information that got pushed out of her ass. Anyway, we're at the end of the show. I think I ruined it.
Yeah,
Are we
It's
doing
good.
another episode after Kyle ruined the show?
Nope. We can end it right there, right where I ended. Right where I ruined
Well,
it.
we've gone this entire time, and as we discussed, there are different button combinations. I'm pretty sure those different button combinations correspond to weapons that would be more effective against bosses and other enemies, and you guys have not changed tactics this entire time.
Much like a work essential Zoom meeting, Kyle was completely disinterested. Oh,
Keith
Kyle,
Beal,
you
20
didn't keep
minutes ago.
going.
Keith, you could have helped me. You didn't, so that's the end.